Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am making this junk journal and I am designing the cover. I put fabric on the inside of this junk journal and now I'm drawing out the tree shape. There was a crescent moon in this particular cover, so I decided to use that as a theme, and I kind of have a witchy feel in this theme. It's a gift for one of my daughters who does like that kind of theme, and I thought a night sky with a kind of a eerie tree would be a really cool idea, a cool design. So I just kind of started my tree in the front here. I open it up, of course, and I'm going to draw on both sides. The idea was that the trunk part of the tree mostly will be on the spine, and then once I sewed my signatures in, the strings did come through the spine, and that worked really fine, but then I just recovered it with paper, just to let you know. I didn't do the signatures on this video, but you'll see that how it looks. I just covered, it looks the same way. I didn't have the strings. I chose not to have the strings over it. Here is me gluing on this natural type of hemp type of string, rope type of thing. It's like natural grass stuff, whatever it is. And I think I picked it up at the dollar store, and I'm just hot gluing it to make my shapes and follow my roots. I want it to look really realistic, and that's how I start my pattern. So I just keep following it here. I'm going to speed through quite quickly so you guys get the gist of it, but I just wanted to make sure I get the trunk and the bark look, and didn't want to fill it too much, but I wanted it to have that feel of a tree, of course. And I had to cover it up with paper to make it look more realistic. The string does work really good to make it like 3D under the paper. So I've done this process before, making a leaf and the veins and the leaf and that kind of thing, and I thought I'd give it a try with something a little bit more I don't know, detail, and see if it worked, and I was very happy with the results. So I'm just going quite fast here just to show you how it kind of looks. I didn't want to really delete too much of the video, but I first kind of started off with just a little bit of a base of where the branches are going, and then kind of followed along to make it thicker or whatever in certain spots. I think I may have made one, in my opinion, one side a little bit too thick, but it all worked out in the end. I was trying to make kind of like a, you'll see a little bump in the branch, and it's like, it looked kind of thick, but it did work out anyway. Yeah, I really like the way it did turn out. So right there, this is where I made kind of like a little bump thing, and the paper I found kind of didn't give me the detail I wanted. So that's something to watch out for, is if you put too much detail in there, it just doesn't tend to pick up with like a brown paper over top. I use like a packing paper or whatever kind of stuff over top to get my tree to come through. So here it is, all done. I use my glue. This is just craft glue and white glue, and I just put it all over here, and then I just put my paper on. I put the full sheet of paper on too, so then it would cover nicely and evenly. I didn't want any beginning ends or, you know, patches of paper or anything that you can see, but I ended up using some pieces to patch up anything that kind of stuck through if the paper ripped, and it blended in well. As you can see, I put my glue in a jar. This is an old candle jar, and I finally put some fresh glue in there. But it stays in there for a very long time, and stays nice and fresh. I've had it in there for years, and then finally it gets kind of thick after a long time. But this is how the process goes, and just speeding through here and getting all the glue everywhere. And I want to make sure I get right to the edges because you don't want any of the paper lifting on the edges and tearing. And as I'm going with this, I'm trying to figure out what my plans are. So I'm like, where am I going to put things, like how am I going to close the book and all that kind of stuff. So those are things that I'm kind of thinking in my head. Here I'm putting a layer of glue over top of everything to make sure that it's sealed through, and I'll also want the shape. You can't really see the tree right now because it's all kind of crinkled, but once you get it into the crevices of the pattern, it looks really nice. I really like it. So this is just me gluing that down. Like I said, on this one side I found that I thought maybe I made my branches too thick, and then the side where the glue jar is, I thought. So I'm going to be more careful for the next time. Yeah, you can't do like too much detail because it kind of, the paper just doesn't want to sink in. I did work it a lot to get it into the crevices, and I did have some tearing and I had to patch up because of that, because I was trying to get it to where you can really see it looking like bark. Here it was just a little bit damp still, so I'm just tearing it away, and I'm tearing it towards the inside so then I'm not peeling the paper off. And I had to patch up that little end there. There's a little green string showing, but yeah, I'm tearing it so I'm not having it lift off. And I'm just going around the whole book. I think that was the nice part there. And then I used to use the edging that I just tore off to do any patch-up work. So it was already had a little bit of glue on. It was just already torn to pieces. I just had little patch-up pieces here and there to do. I'm not sure if you can catch them on the video or not, if I do them on the video or not. But you might see that. Here I'm just trying to get where the moon is, just kind of try to get it so I can tear it instead of having to worry about cutting it. So I'm just wetting the paper more with my paintbrush and pushing it through. And that is, it did work really well. Another thing I did too after, you might see, I'm not sure if I have it on videos, after it was dry, I used sandpaper to get my edges nice and smooth, and I just used it in one motion down instead of up, so then I wouldn't pull any paper off. I just used it that way. And I was really careful in tearing around inside this part here because I didn't want any lift on that paper. So here I'm just gluing it right down to the side. Just don't want any paper sticking up. It took a little playing with to get it in there, but I was persistent and finally it did work to get all the edges kind of nice and smooth. And I'm really liking how it looks. It looks pretty cool. This is my witch theme. I thought it'd be a cute little, like, you know, maybe kind of a spell book look, or like a journal from you know, magic spells or something. It's just something for fun, for a theme. But the moon was really cute in there, so I thought I'd use that. And here I have these magic, metallic lusters, sorry. And I used these different colors to get everything. Yeah, you missed the part where I sanded the edges, but I did sand the edges down, I think, maybe even after. But I used browns, I used copper. This was, I think, might be a golden brown. I used copper. I have a little green, a little purple. And then for the sky and like the other stuff, I used more of a night sky look. So I just did it in layers, and that's all. I didn't paint it right, any other acrylic paint, just these metallic lusters. And I like the look. I wanted to make sure I had roots to look kind of cool and old, the tree. And I just play with all these colors. I'm speeding through here. This is the dark, more of a blacky metallic. And I think this is more like a gunmetal, and I'm trying to get the night sky look there. And I really like how it turned out. So I was just playing with all these different colors. And like I said, at the end I did ink it, just with some Stays On ink, with a sponge and just try to get the sky to look a little darker. So then the tree would pop. I found that it was a little bit too blended, so I did that at the very, very end. So you can watch me kind of play with these metallic lusters. I did use all of the colors that are here, the green, the copper. Kind of just made sure I put the purple more in the sky, so then it could look like night sky here, and the greens more in the bottom, or the root area where the grass and all that kind of stuff would be growing. I put some copper throughout the tree branches too, so that, yeah, here's the green and looking nice through, like it would be the ground cover a bit, maybe a little bit in the branch, I think, yeah, just to make it look like there could possibly be some leaves or something. Blending it all in, and I use this gold one here kind of as highlight, just kind of bring it all together on the tree bark itself. So everything I really liked about this, like I said, the one branch there looks pretty thick on the left side, but it works. It looks good anyhow. And I really love how this spine turned out. And even when I had to recover it and repaint it because I had sewn these signatures in, I still, you'll see the picture of it with the signatures in, I think at the very, very end, because I didn't do that part on the video. I covered it up again, and I think you will see that at the end, I'm not sure. I covered it up again, and yeah, it just looks really nice. Here's me inking the edges, and with my sponge just going in and darkening it up. It was just too blendy, and I wanted it to be a little bit more of a contrast. That's the word I'm looking for. I went over a little bit on the bark as well to pick up some of the low, I don't know, I kind of would have picked, I guess those are the highlights, but I just darkened them up just to make it look more mysterious. And then I went in afterwards. Maybe I didn't even get it on video. I don't know. It's been a while since I did this one. But I went in afterwards to darken up all the, what would be the sky. Okay, going back to seeing what happened here at the end of the video. I did not have the signatures in at this point. I put them in temporarily just to see if they fit and that kind of thing. I was also planning on making the holes with my awl, so I have a little strip that I cut out and put in the center there, and made my pattern of, you have to kind of decide where you're going to have your holes and then keep those because you're putting them through all the signatures. So I put 3 holes, and then in my pattern that I saved for that particular book, I used the same 3 holes, so then all my signatures would fit on there. So this is the paper here. So I will see if I can find some pictures and put them at the end here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.